This channel supports 8-Bit Salute and Operation Supply Drop. Please help us raise money to help support our men and women in service throughout the world. Operation Supply Drop, making fun where there is none. What up, everybody? This your boy Blak Magus, and been a while since I've done a just singular topic sports video, but new year, might as well get back to some old things that we really like to do. Um, so just did the video on the Redskins talking about their final game and just looking back at the whole season. And one of the things that I brought up was the situation with Kirk Cousins. All year, it's been discussed as to what to do with Kirk Cousins. Now, as the season progressed, he's had some good games statistically. He had some moments that were huge highlights, and then he had some games that statistically weren't that great, and moments that just made you scratch your head and wonder, what the fuck was this guy thinking? But that's Kirk Cousins. With him, what you get is somebody who, in that system and with those tools, is able to put up some really good numbers. That being said, is he your rock? Is he your franchise quarterback? Because, again, his decision making. One of the things that I've always harped on when it came to him has been his decision making. And the accuracy that everybody loves to just exult over. You look at a lot of his passes, go and look at tape of him. Those receivers make some great catches. Usually it's a 50-50 thing. He'll either put the ball on target or his receivers have to reach for it or make a spectacular catch. Come back to the ball. Things like that. Because he throws a lot of short balls. Whenever he does throw it deep, he seems to overthrow. Like his timing's off on deep balls, I believe. He lets it go too early because he knows that it's a deep route. So he'll just step back, set his feet, and just chuck it, and hope that Deshaun Jackson or whoever it is will run under it. Instead of like trying to time it a little bit, giving his receivers a running start, and not having them have to sprint for it. But and then the interceptions, the sacks that he takes. You look at some of those and it's like, yep, did you not feel the pressure and know to get rid of the ball? Did you really need to try to force that throw? Do you really think you're that good of a passer? Just things like that that's always irked me about him. And it made me say from the beginning, I don't think that they should pay him that much money. That being said, Redskins are in a situation where this is the reality. You don't have a comparable backup. As I said in that other video, could RG3, if he had stayed, been a comparable backup? Probably. Of course, his health issues and the fact that the coach don't like him, plus the fact that you would have to pay him a lot of money, made him an unpalatable choice. Even if you weren't in the mind that he wasn't the wrong choice for the Redskins. Like, even if you are someone who's a fan of RG3, looking at the dynamics of the things and the way that stuff is going on in DC, it just wasn't working for him to stay here. It wouldn't have made sense. That being said, who do you go to now? Because your backup is Colt McCoy. You really gonna let Kirk Cousins walk and let Colt McCoy be your starter? Because look at the free agency market right now. The possibilities, and not everything's definite at this point because you don't know who's going to land on the market completely. Ryan Tannehill, I think, is up for contract. He just took his team to the playoffs, and he's a decent enough starter that Miami would keep him. Tony Romo, maybe. Do you want Tony Romo? You'll be faced with a situation where you'll get a good quarterback, but how much longer does he have to go between his injuries and the fact that he's been in the league for 9 years? Um, do you think Tony Romo's going to be healthy enough to give you 5, 7 years more at least? Um, I mean, granted, sure, he can give you a bridge between the next guy that you draft, possibly, if you're going to draft somebody within the next 2 to 3 years. But your team is unlikely to place that low to be able to get a franchise quarterback, unless you do some really deep um, research and you find yourself one of those guys who come late in the draft that end up being a great quarterback. You're gonna have to luck up like that. Colin Kaepernick's probably going to be a free agent. Um, he doesn't fit Jay Gruden's style, so I can not see Jay Gruden even wanting to take a look at him. Even if he were somebody who I thought was on the Redskins short list, he may not be the best choice. I like Colin Kaepernick or not, but yeah, for that system, no. And Jay Gruden's not going to budge, nah. Jay Cutler, okay, no. Um, who else? Ryan Fitzpatrick might. Well, he probably is done in New York. No. Uh, are you going to come back to RG3? Because there's a possibility the Browns may let him go. Um, highly doubt it. Uh, Sam Bradford may be a free agent. I. That's not your long term choice, probably. Um, yeah, it's just, and then you have the possibility of franchising him. Now, franchising him and signing him both poses problems for your team because you're tying up a lot of money. If you sign him, 9 times out of 10, they're going to put him close to, not at, but close to the top quarterback rate because he's been getting hyped a lot. Um, his press has been phenomenal. His numbers look really, really good. So therefore, even with all the like bullshit that I said he does, he could demand somewhere between 17, 19 mil a year. Um, ideally, you would want to get him for something under 15, but it may not be possible, you know? So, you tie him up with that money. Now you have to look at your receivers because you got Garcon and Jackson who are free agents. Which one are you going to pay? Of course, you could franchise him and then you could try to pursue them, but franchising him makes him a $24 million quarterback for that year. That takes away a lot of money. And beyond the franchising, beyond the re-signing of Garcon and Jackson, you have a lot of pieces defensively. Offensively, you probably want to address maybe some offensive line issues because you're going to have to find somebody who's going to replace Williams. He's getting up there. Um, I would say like you would probably want to look at pieces on your offensive line that you don't think may work as well because we've had some shaky plays sometimes in offensive linemen when we got injuries. Your linebackers, you may want to flesh that out a little bit more. Your secondary, safety is the place you might want to take a look at and address, um, and get some more defensive depth. There's a lot of pieces that the Redskins can work on. So you got to be careful with how much you spend. But the reality definitely is just this. The Redskins have to sign Kirk Cousins. There's no way that they can avoid signing Kirk Cousins. And the reason I say this is because of the reasons that I stated. Um, you have players that you need to get and people that you might want to bring back, things you need to address. Signing him leaves your franchise tag open for one of your receivers if you want to bring back Garcon or Jackson, or both, because you could sign one, franchise the other, and try to figure it out for next year. Um, you could possibly work out a good enough deal where you don't have to pay him well on a yearly basis and give him like guaranteed back end money, so that you can pick up pieces as well. Um, Things like that, like work a contract and where he can get paid and not tie up a lot of cap room. But more importantly, is again, what are your options if you don't sign him? Your free agency options aren't that like great and may not have any long term potential in them. Um, a lot of the people who could be free agents is it's more of a speculative. It's a more speculative market than um a sure market of who you got out there to pull from because you don't know who's going to actually be allowed to leave their team. Because a lot of the people that are named are still kind of under contract. They're gonna have to be released. Some teams may not release them. Some teams may want to keep some of their components. So you don't know exactly what these teams are going to do. Um, and you're not going to draft anybody high. You're going to draft low. Is there a deep pool of quarterbacks where you can find your Dak Prescott? Possibly. Maybe if you maneuver draft well enough. With the picks that you do have. Yeah, it's more and more looking like the best option to me is to just re-sign Cousins and hope that he improves on the things that irk me and many of the Redskins fans and probably his coaches too. Like work on those negatives and heighten the positives. And I mean, at the least, I've always said that he would be a good stopgap for your eventual franchise quarterback. Because while I don't think he's a franchise quarterback, he's serviceable enough. And maybe that's all you want. It's just that person who can sit there. Maybe that's what Madonna's thinking. I get somebody who can give me a few years. Do I have to pay him? Yeah, but I figure get a few years out of him, and build up towards a better replacement. Find a way to get it because we're still trying to piece things together from previous eras. Madonna's not going to. I don't know when he'll ever have a full draft at his, um, you know, at his disposal to play with, so he can really make the moves that he wants. Because all the trades that we've done for certain players and things and all that kind of still biting us in the ass. I think. Hopefully that'll be cleared up soon. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. So that's my opinion. Sign him, and hope for the best. I mean, I've called him many times, like our Matt Schaub. And hey, you want somebody who's going to at least have the team show a competitive record and put up a lot of numbers? There you go, Kirk Cousins. Um, it may not win you anything or may not get you to the playoffs on a consistent basis, but he's serviceable. So but signing him is probably the best option. But I would love to know what you guys think and why you think so. So please feel free to comment. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, you think I'm right. But just as always, if you're gonna comment, do it in a respectful manner. You don't have to be a dick to disagree with somebody. You know what I mean? Name calling and all that shit. It's not necessary. You can tell me you think I'm wrong and still be civil about it. That's what adults do. They have adult conversations that way. So, and I ask that you guys respond to your comments that way. But anyway, as always, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Blak Magus, and I'm out, y'all. Deuces.